Alright, this is Caleb, and I did a refresher project on my drafting skills in 123Ddesign, as well as learning some new stuff in this program that has to do with importing an SVG and how to turn a simple image, such as voila, into an SVG sketch file to use in 123Ddesign. Right here, as you can see here, obviously labeled, I built a case for the Arduino Uno. And it went over smoothly in an actual print scenario, other than I need to widen this gap here and this one here and come up with some sort of new idea for a lid lock design. Because my initial idea was the peg hole here to the peg, but the printer that we have, that I have access to, doesn't quite get the precision needed in order to get those pegs and holes just kind of formed correctly. If I could show you right now I would, but the holes didn't even quite print with the lid and the pegs were iffy. So, I mean, you get what you get, can't complain about it. It's still amazing that I was able to take this file and make it a physical item. But as for the next deal here, this would be quicker if it let me have multiple tabs. But I have my next deal that has to do with importing the SVG file. So you can see here, this is the School Viking logo in a 3D physical form, approximately 0.15 inches thick and around 2 by 1 1/4. Seeing how you do this, there is a tutorial online on Instructables. I'll link it in the description, but you take an image just such as this PNG here. You don't need anything fancy. And then you put it in Photoshop, erase the background. It's real simple. And then you go into Illustrator. And from here, you got to use. I'm not doing a tutorial video really, or else I'd go ahead and do it again. But you use the image trace and then expand it, and you should get something such as this. You up the stroke to 1 point, and the Instructables describes the rest. I'm not the best at Illustrator. I think it's a miracle that I can even do this. But yeah, I get that file, import the SVG, which happens to be like this big. When I put it in here, it's frustrating. But anyone else doing this shouldn't have the problem if they're smart enough to downsize the image before they do it. But after I imported that SVG, as you could maybe have seen here, right there in this file, you can see that this little shadow crest, whatever you want to call it here, meshes into the main shape. So it didn't quite translate well into an SVG. So the only thing I really had to do is I smoothed out some edges up on the top, and then I actually, when it was still a sketch, I had to redraw this area. Sorry, this program does lag, this computer. Yep, there's my spinning wheel. But I did have to redraw this area somewhat, then I smoothed it back out, and it prints okay, which makes me rather happy. And as for other things, I had to spend some time fixing the printer. My Z-gap was not quite up to par, and it wouldn't hold the setting. But the other thing I got, I think I left it on my desktop, was I did start on a little tool rack. I didn't get very far on it. I just kind of spent the end of the day doing it. But I was intending to perhaps having some kind of adjustment system here, and that way you can widen or shorten this gap between an adjustable tab and this solid bottom tab to just slide it onto any shelf. And then I'll have multiple holes all throughout this platform. You can slide in screwdrivers, and if you want to have something different inserted into the tool rack, you can come back to just this blank and draw whatever else that you might want to put in it, such as plier sockets, so it's, like a little slot to put that is in the shape of your pliers, or whatever you might want. But that is meant to attach to a shelf and just hold your stuff for those that don't have a proper toolbox or anything like that. mainly for computer tools, small screwdrivers, jewelers, whatever you want, just small tools. And really that concludes most of this project, but the main highlight here, the main learning point I had here was taking this picture and being able to translate it into an SVG and then to a 3D object, which just goes to show how far we've come with just technology that even, if I can do it, so can you. Anyone can do this with the access to proper tools.